and this book is when you start out in this book, boy, it's a scary book. To think that this could happen to you or me, and I don't know if this happened to me. I thought I'd go insane. I don't know how these people can deal with it. But what is then the answer to this? As to why is it to create another hybrid being?
I don't know the answer to that, Mike. I mean, what it looks like, there's three basic parts to this, and all seem to me to have something to do with evolution in a gradual sense. In other words, that if you start with what many abductees are told in their encounters, that we cannot go on treating the Earth the way we have been. In other words, that we are kind of a species out of control, that we're destroying the Earth's living systems, and that somehow that period of our freedom to exploit the Earth for ourselves or our interests, a word that we use a lot, our national or local interests, that has to end. There has to be some kind of a change. And one way, there are various ways that can happen. One way is to do it genetically. In other words, and one of the fundamental dimensions of this phenomenon, again, we don't know in what reality this is occurring, but this is what the experience is of our being joined with this hybrid species through the taking of sperm from the men, eggs from the women, reimplanting of the eggs after they've been something done to them from this alien substance, whatever that may be, pregnancies removed, and then these little hybrid alien human figures are seen by the abductees on the ships, and that's a very poignant thing for the mothers because they don't know when they're ever going to see them again, and it's some kind of experiment in nature, crossing dimensions of reality, blending a species, us, which is very densely embodied, with one that's less embodied, to evolve to something that preserves the human value without the destructiveness. That's a kind of pattern that virtually emerges from the 90 cases that I've worked with, and again, that all of this seemed to me utterly impossible when I started out, and I don't even know in what reality it is. And another important dimension has to do with that each of the experiencers, abductees as they're called, are shown on television monitors or through the telepathic communication by which the beings talk to people mind to mind, that they are shown scenes of the Earth destroyed, of ecological disaster, of a role that each of them has in the later, what happens later on the planet, growing food hydroponically. Now, whether that is a literal prediction of the future or a kind of wake-up call to alert us to the course we're on, I don't know, but it does affect the consciousness of the abductees profoundly, and they do change their lives. They become quite intent upon recycling, upon living different kinds of lives, more in harmony with the Earth. So it affects them deeply, and then it affects people who are willing to or open to communicating about this deeply as well.
John, does this mean then do you think that we may somehow have been an experiment that was started and maybe has gone wrong from what it was supposed to have, the way it was supposed to have gone, and that we were planted here in some kind of a crop?
Well, whatever we were, yes. I mean, it looks like that, Mike. And it was whatever we were supposed to be. That is, a highly intelligent creatures with profound moral, spiritual sense of responsibility, a stewardship of the Earth. That purpose, if you will, what the some Native American groups call the original instructions for humankind. We've lost the original instructions. We've gone bizarre. We've gone malignant. We've become dangerous to the Earth's living systems. And as one of the abductees put it, this phenomenon is a cosmic correction. I mean, the evolution isn't perfect. I mean, God or whatever the creative principle is doesn't just get it right. It takes a while, and this process, one of the ways of thinking about this is as something that is compensatory. In other words, it's rebalancing, and it's telling us the Earth is not simply our property to exploit for ourselves.
John, how many of our listeners here, we go into 16 states here, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people we probably have listening right now, but how many of those right now have been abductees, do you suppose? Is there a percentage?
the percentages, it ranges from several 100,000 to several million Americans. The difficulty with taking a moment in time epidemiologically is that the memory plays tricks. Like two of the cases in my book, of the 13 cases I write up there, didn't remember their experiences for 25 or more years, and then something triggered that memory. In one case, it was walking along a rocky shore with the wife of a man and his wife, and that evoked a memory from when he was 16, and it was on a similar rocky shore. The other case was a man in his 30s, a very prominent businessman, very successful, who was at a family reunion, and his sister said to him, "Hey, Arthur, you remember the time when we were driving home from the movies and this big bright light came down and this huge UFO came down over the car, and Mom pulled over the side of the road, and we couldn't move, and of course, they hadn't talked about this, and that brought back the memory for him, and then he came to me, and we looked into it in more detail."
Well, I want to do a break here, John, and sure great to have you on here with me today, and take some calls here for you. Maybe we can find some people out there who have, if it's as high as you think, and Bud Hopkins, I know, says it is. And you know Bud.
Oh, sure, very well. He was a real pioneer in this work.
Yeah, and it's high. I imagine we have people out there who have gone through this. We'll come back and take some calls for you, John, when we come back, okay?
Very good.
All right, Human Encounters with Aliens, Abduction is the book. John Mack, psychiatrist at Harvard, Pulitzer Prize winner, is here with us. We'll be right back. 576-7681 is our number on this day of the eclipse that is going on now. Can I see anything? No. Can't tell. But about 20, 30 minutes from now. The best friends your feet ever had, the folks at Red Wing Shoe Store, back on this program after many, many years. And I used to love to tell you about Red Wing shoes, and now I'm happy to be doing it again. Made in the USA since 1905. This is truly an American product in Red Wing, Minnesota. And this is a product for you who work. And nurses, you nurses that stand on your feet, you people that work in department stores, and if you stand on the concrete shoe is the one for you. Red Wing has so many styles to choose from for wear on concrete. And I know that a lot of you working people out there say, well, if I could only find a shoe. This has been it for years and years, but maybe you haven't heard about it. At Red Wing Shoe Stores, nothing is more important than your comfort and satisfaction. You get a pair of these hunting shoes, hunting boots, work shoes, the concrete shoe. In the long run, your feet pay the price when you stand on your feet. You know how tough it is. For the best-made boots in America and the people who know them inside and out, you stop by your Red Wing Shoe Store. There's one in Mission. I've been there a lot. There's one in Independence. There's one in Kansas City North and Overland Park. So there are only 4 of these stores. So if you want to get out and get yourself a pair of these Red Wing shoes for the guy who works and hunts, and ladies too, you nurses, you got to have a pair of Red Wings. You get out to one of those 4 stores and you be sure and tell them I sent you. Say, Murphy says we got to have concrete shoes. In Mission, Independence, Kansas City North, and Overland Park, Red Wings.
Attention all business owners. Jury T and Commercial Realtors has available a 12,500 square foot office suite in the Plaza Westport area. This modern suite comes complete with generous tenant finish allowance, large conference room, and full kitchen. Perimeter offices and lots of glass add natural light and a comfortable working atmosphere to this space. The building is completely handicap accessible and features plenty of covered parking provided with lease. For more information or to view this suite, call Ron Jury at 677-5900.
Stephanie Cintron, LensCrafters optician.
Finding the right pair of glasses is a tough thing. At LensCrafters, that's where my job comes in. I try and help them select a frame and make sure that it is not only cosmetically nice, but also is what they need optically. Customers...
Cars go on sale. Your payments hit rock bottom. Get a 93 Mustang convertible for nothing down at just $199 a month. Save $8,000 on loaded 93 Aerostars. Over 50 to choose from. And with cash back from Thoroughbred, you can pay your sales tax and drive away without a penny down. Dealer participation may affect selling price. You'll save thousands under the big top during Thoroughbred Ford's once-a-year Smart Car 10 event going on now. 1616 Independence Avenue.
Have your employees dress casually for a great cause. On Friday, June 17th, office workers throughout the city will dress casually as participants in the United Cerebral Palsy's Casual Day, and you can too. If your office would like to participate, just call 531-4189. There's a $5 donation, and all proceeds will help provide services for children and adults with cerebral palsy and other severe disabilities. Call 531-4189 today and help fight cerebral palsy.
All right. And we are back. There have been a lot of books about alien abduction. Most famous of all, probably Whitley Strieber's Communion, the best-selling book with the alien on the cover with the big eyes, but nobody with the credentials of John Mack, whose book, Abduction, Human Encounters with Aliens, is just out. John, how's it doing so far? Do you know?
It's selling well. I don't have exact figures, but there seems to be a remarkable amount of interest in this, so I'm pleased about that.
How do you feel? Do you think maybe you were ever taken here yourself?
No, I think they're keeping me clean, Mike. I think I'm. My role is to be this sort of, academic translator or something, from the establishment into the culture.
Do you think you were picked to play a part in this?
Oh yeah, you're getting into my own kind of spiritual point of view here. I mean, I think we each have our role, our place, and mine is not to be an abductee, but mine is to
tell the story.
Tell the story, to be a bridge, to communicate about this to a larger public if people are willing to be
have you ever heard
open about it.
The story that there are messengers, that there are people who have been picked for hundreds of years to tell this story?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think there are messengers. I mean, that's the sense I have, that I'm a messenger, and of course, we have that famous phrase of shooting the messenger, you know, and sometimes the messenger is well received, and sometimes the messenger becomes the one that is attacked rather than pay attention to the message,
Well, let's get some calls here for you, okay?
Sure.
Okay, let's go to Lisa. You're on KCMO with Dr. John Mack.
Hi, Dr. Mack.
Yes, Lisa.
I was wondering, how do you know for sure that what you are seeing is a UFO? What happened to me was I was getting off of an interstate, and I saw at first what seemed to be one of these up-to-date airplanes. But it was hovering like almost right over me, but nobody else could see it. And
what, can you describe its shape?
I can draw the shape. I've drawn it.
Just say, what was the shape?
It looked more like it was long in shape, and as I said, it was hovering. And when it took off, it didn't take off like a normal airplane would.
How did it take off?
It tipped up on its front end and turned slowly to the right, and then just kind of zoomed off.
When you say long, I mean, can you say more about its shape? Was it like a cigar shaped, or what was there any kind of engines on it? Could you see anything else?
Let's say if you take maybe a hot dog and a hot dog bun.
Yeah.
Okay, and add wings that go straight back.
Yeah.
And kind of what I would call kind of power boosters.
Yeah, and did it make a noise?
Yeah.
What kind of noise?
Kind of like a train.
And did it accelerate about the way an airplane does, or faster than an airplane?
Fast.
How fast?
Fast. I couldn't even begin to tell you. I mean, it took off, and from where it went, I have no idea, because that's how fast it took off.
It just went like zing right away.
Yeah.
Well, that does something an airplane. I mean, I think one of the key ways you tell is these things do things airplanes can't do. I mean, they've been clocked at going within a second from 0 to 7,000 miles an hour, making a right-angle turn with no skid at 7,000 miles an hour. I mean, they do things which our technologies can't do.
But the fact that nobody else saw it.
Well, that's been described too. That sometimes you'll have several people who will see a UFO and others won't in a field. There are tricks that are played on our perceptions that we simply don't understand that occurs around this.
So basically it is the believers will see it and the non-believers won't?
I don't know about believing. I mean, we don't know. Sometimes people don't believe it when they see it,
Okay.
So believing is kind of something we do with the left side of our brains, but perceiving is like our total being, and you perceive something, and others don't, and we don't know really what makes it selective in that way. What was the impact of this? What was the effect of this on you?
I'll tell you, I need to take a break here,
Okay,
Doctor,
let's take a break.
And I will do the minute of news, and I'll be right back to you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, and Dr. John Mack here, Abduction, will be back on Talk Radio 810 KCMO.
Clear and 74 degrees in Kansas City. Good morning, Richard Mack, KCMO News. Officials say conditions are ideal for viewing today's annular eclipse of the sun. Skies were clear just after 10 o'clock as the moon began to pass in front of the sun. The moon will obscure the sun shortly before noon, 11:45 to be exact. Experts say the eclipse will create a twilight-like appearance and may cause a slight temperature drop and wind gusts. The last complete eclipse visible in this area occurred about 2 centuries ago. Another is not expected until August of the year 2017.
Hey! Fresh definition of The Starlight Superstar Concert Series proudly presents the Summer Nights Filled with Stars, featuring live Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet.
Together wherever we go.
Live at Starlight Theater.
This could be the start of something.
Plus
big.
Natalie Cole.
Take a look in the mirror. Look at yourself.
And Dieter, Paul, and Mary. The Starlight Superstar Series. Also starring Barry Manilow. Barry Manilow. Series tickets are on sale now for a limited time only. Call Starlight Theater at 363-STAR or see this Sunday's KC Star for details. See all concerts for as low as $52. That's right, $52. Starlight Theater, a summer of stars under the stars. Produced by Contemporary.
He wished upon a city and became a star. Talk Radio 810, KCMO, Kansas City, presents Mike Murphy.
And we are back. Dr. John Mack, professor of psychiatry at the Cambridge Hospital, Harvard Medical School, founding director of the Center for Psychology and Social Change, here with us, Pulitzer Prize winner, and never has there been a man with credentials like this that has ever gotten involved in it. What kind of reaction do you get from your coworkers and your people you work with about all this, John?
Well, it's an amazing range, Mike. I get from some top scientists in the Harvard area, Cambridge area, great encouragement. They feel that this kind of work and work on the near-death experience is going to tell us more about ourselves and the cosmos than we're going to learn from telescopes and the ways of normal science. And then I get people saying, what's happened to John? We wish he weren't doing this. And then I get a range in between. I get a lot of psychiatrists who write me and say, I've seen these cases. This is important. Keep it up. And then I get people who, mostly behind my back, who say, this is off the wall, and he must have, this must be something that he hasn't thought of. It could explain all this.
It's tough to be a pioneer, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if, I just try to stay with what seems truthful to me, and, and it kind of comes with the territory. You're going to get attacked, but I also get a lot of support. People, and particularly what I find very gratifying is that a lot of the people that write to us are, have never spoken up before, been ashamed to, or afraid of being ridiculed, but now are able to say, yeah, I've had these experiences, and able to communicate about it, whereas in the past they always would be afraid of they'd lose their jobs, or they would lose their friends, or so that's the validation that something's going on here, and that people can speak up is important.
Let's go to Virgil here for you. Virgil, you're on KCMO.
Yeah, I was going to ask Dr. Mack. It was back in 1964 in Memphis, Tennessee. What we did was we stole some 10-speed bikes out by Graceland, by Presley House, and we was kind of from a low-income neighborhood. And on the way back, we seen this thing hovering over. We thought it was, we was 10 years old at the time, thought it was a helicopter, the police or whatever, but we dropped the bikes and ran. And we kind of hid in a sewer type thing. Mm-hmm. And we sat there and laughed about it, and we was going, hey, he's still up there, the light's still there. So this thing went away. We went back to get the bikes, and on the ground was a print of the bikes, and the grass was burnt.
Yeah, well, that's a typical experience of with a UFO where the grass is burned.
And we went to get one guy, Dad, to tell him about it. What really, I'm 40 now, but he told my dad, and I got paddled about the bikes. We never heard nothing else about it.
What happened to the bikes?
They was gone.
What happened? They were just disappeared?
Yeah, it was a print of the bikes in the grass. The grass was burnt, and this thing looked like a snail shell-shaped thing to me. A big snail-shaped thing. And it was the print of the bikes were there. We told this guy, Dad.
And the bikes are gone?
The bikes was gone.
And the heat was so intense that it left a print out of the bikes on the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the ground was burned off.
What do you say about that, Doctor?
That's a very common report that the ground will be burned. One of the cases I've been working with is a man who was abducted from his farm when he was a child in Missouri, and his father saw the UFO too, and there was a circle of burned earth where the UFO landed 30 feet across, and nothing grew there for 3 years. The ground was burned and baked solid. And it's interesting about the bikes that they happened to be where the UFO came down, and they were burned up, and this print was left. I never heard that particular detail, but that's the kind of thing you hear.
Cattle mutilation. Did you ever find anything out about what you think those might be?
Well, Linda Moulton Howe, who's investigated that most thoroughly, has a number of cases where the beams of light that are associated with UFOs and with abductions are seen near where the cattle mutilation occurs. The cattle mutilations, whatever they're doing, it's very neat surgical, like a laser cuts of the portions of the cattle, and it's not done by anything human as far as we can tell. And it is part of this whole phenomenon of some intelligence trying to reach us, study us, do things with us. It's like the crop circles in all over the world now that are appearing, or they're not circles, they're complicated formations in crops which often have a symbolic significance. Some kind of intelligence is coming through, and Linda calls it glimpses of other realities in her new book.
Let's go to Jean here. Jean, you're on KCMO.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Dr. Mack, I just wanted to call and offer my support and thank you very much for all of your hard work. And I know the schedule you must be keeping is pretty grueling at times.
Well, thank you, Jean. I appreciate the support.
Yes, and also, if you would please, to the people that were your experiencers that were on the Oprah show, please convey our gratitude. All the people that followed the subject matter, that took an awful lot of courage for them to get on national television, and thank you very much to them as well.
I will. You know, the critics say, well, these are just, I think, what was it, Philip Glass said, they're little nobodies that just want attention. Well, it's very difficult. It's just the opposite. These are people that are afraid to appear anywheres, and it took, as Gene said, a lot of courage for them to come on Oprah and other shows. They're reluctant to do it, and I think they're supporting this work, and they're willing to take a risk for their career. Some of them have been actually harassed at work since appearing, and we've got to support them. So a call like this is really helpful. Thanks.
Yes, and to anyone else who's listening, I would think from a therapeutic standpoint, for people who are on the fence or very skeptical, to please be careful, because how is that any different than ridiculing someone who reported, say, 15 years ago, sexual abuse? Be careful, because people's emotional states are fragile at times with the trauma as it is. So anyway, I personally am very grateful for their courage.
Thank you, Gene. See, even if we don't understand this phenomenon, something important, I believe, is occurring here. And rather than to, give us proof, and if we don't have proof, we say it doesn't exist. Let's say something powerful is occurring that may have some subtleties to it, but is entering people's lives. And let's support the people, at least, that are having these experiences, and not, as Gene says, to ridicule. Let me give you an address for your listeners to write to if they want more information about this work, or find out if somebody they can work with in their area. It's PEER, PWR, Program for Extraordinary Experience Research, Post Office Box 382-427, Cambridge, Massachusetts, 02238.
All right, very good. I want to do 1 minute of commercial, and I'll be.
I'm gonna have to go, Mike. I'm gonna have to leave you. At this point.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm enjoying this, and I just it's just, as Gene says, this kind of crazy schedule I'm on. I'm gonna have to stop.
Maybe I can get you again.
I'd love it.
Thank you very much for being here with me.
Thank you.
I really, really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you,
Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Well, hell. Why did he do that to me? Oh, man. I think the commercials got him. How long was that last break? Well, this is Murphy, and I want to send you down to the Hereford House whenever you can get there and have the best steak that you ever had in your life. And if you want to go early, 4:30 to 5, you need to get a special KCMO Hereford House Early Diners Club card, which will entitle you to a succulent dinner at a very special price, like New England Roughy. You can get that greatest fish you're ever going to have. They have crisp golden fried shrimp, 7 ounces of chicken breast, an 8-ounce top sirloin, 6-ounce filet, and you can do this for $11.90 when you get your KCMO Hereford House Early Diners Club card. You get ice cream for dessert, and the Hereford House, of course, at 20th and Main since 1957, but now doing about 5 times more business than they've ever done in history. And so if you want to get down there today and have that Early Diners Club, you just give them a call. Their number is 842-1080, and tell them I sent you, and maybe have a Hereford burger. If you've never had the Hereford burger, that's the trimmings that they do from the steaks and all the great T-bones and fillets and strips. And then they use those trimmings to make the best hamburger that you have ever had. This is, bar none, the best hamburger there is on earth. And all Hereford burgers are a full half-pound. Now, why would you want to go out and get one of those 3-ounce things? And they call them quarter pounders and all of it. What's that, 4 ounces? Here, you've got half a pound of the best darn beast meat that you ever had in your life. Absolutely the best steak burger, and that's what it is, a steak burger, in Kansas City. So whenever you're in the mood for a porterhouse or a T-bone or a strip or a burger, best burger you ever had, you get down to the Hereford House, and you be sure and tell them that I sent you. They're at 20th and Main since 1957, and now better than they have ever been at the Hereford House.
Just a few days away makes a difference, you can tell. That's why I go to Missouri, the places I know so well.
Hi, y'all. I'm Yakov Smirnov, here to tell you there's nothing like Spring Getaway in Springfield, just 30 miles north of Branson. There you will find famous Bass Pro Shop Outdoor World, Missouri's #1 attraction and the world's greatest sporting goods store. Fantastic caverns, America's only drive-through cave, and Wilson's Creek National Battlefield, the site of the largest Civil War battle west of Mississippi. Don't miss it this spring in Springfield.
Missouri for a getaway, Missouri for a while. Missouri is your getaway state, every hill, every stream, every mile.
For Spring Getaway in Springfield, call 1-800-678-8766. Y'all.
Imagine this. You're getting paid what you're worth with health, life, and disability insurance as part of your benefits package. Sounds too good to be true? Right. But if you or someone you know has a background in computer science with 3 to 5 years of experience as a programmer analyst, and if you're a seasoned professional with experience in COBOL, Focus, CICS, IMS, Tandem, DB2, Unix, Windows, and personal computers, then pay close attention. Call Progressive Computer Solutions Incorporated at 888-PCSI to discover the challenging and rewarding career opportunities available. Your career goals and dreams are as close as your telephone. For more details, call today. 888-PCSI. That's 888-PCSI. Join a management team with over 40 years of computer science experience. Progressive Computer Solutions Incorporated is locally owned and operated. Call today about this exciting career opportunity. 888-PCSI or fax your resume to 648-8510.
All right, we're back. I'm sorry about that, and I don't know what happened. So that was Dr. John Mack, and that was Abduction: Human Encounters with Aliens. It's in the bookstores. It'll scare you. It'll turn your hair white. It is a piece of work with 13 of these people who have been through this. 576-7681 is our number here with another a few minutes as we get. Oh boy, and I wish you could have been here for the eclipse that started now and is going to peak here in what time? What's the exact time? We're going to. Is it about 5 minutes from now, or is it right now? It is right now. This is it. And are you seeing this, folks? Are you looking out? Are you looking? Bullet Head, did you go out and look out the window or out the door, or what'd you see? What do you got? What are you going out again?
Call you on the cellular.
Okay, all right, good. We're going to send a reporter, Bullet Head, reporting direct from the street. Let me get Daryl in here. Daryl, you're on KCMO.
No, this is Tim.
Tim, whatever it is.
Okay.
How you doing there, Tim?
Pretty good, Mike. Well, I'm sorry I missed your guest.
You missed him?
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed him. But I had a question. I have a problem with, I believe in UFOs and abductions, but I heard him say that now their intention is to kind of breed some kind of hybrid because we're destroying the Earth. Yeah. When did all this come about? I've never heard any of this from any of these other abductees saying that, they're trying to give us a message about ecology.
Well, I don't know. That is kind of new. Bud Hopkins did it with in his book, Intruders.
Oh, did he?
And he talked about the hybrids.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the first I've ever heard that, they're trying to give us a message. It sounded like to me that now they're trying to soften the blow that these aliens aren't just breeding their own stock for their own race, but they're trying to help us out in some way.
I'm with you. I wish you'd have got in with him.
Yeah, I see. That sounds bizarre to me. I mean, this is the first I heard of it, and I went, well, when did this change? All of a sudden, this is some new revelation that none of these other investigators have ever come across?
Yeah.
I thought that was a little strange.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wish you'd have got in here. I wish he hadn't. He left me. He just bolted. He said,
I know. Why did he do that?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I think the last break was too long, too many commercials, and then I said I had to do another one. I think he said I got to get out of here.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Well, maybe he had a,
who knows? I just wish you get a guy like that. He's so good, and and this book is frightening. So go get it.
Yeah, I will.
But forget the ecology part of it.
Yeah,
I think maybe I don't know. Maybe yes. I don't know.
I mean, and the physical evidence they keep talking about. There's no physical evidence. How can there not be any physical evidence when you have someone that's never had surgery and they have 12 to 15 surgery scars all over different parts of their body?
Hey, there you go. And the scoop scar, of course, and he talks about that.
I mean, how is that not evidence?
All right, I've got to go to the eclipse.
All right, bud.
Thanks for your call.
Bye-bye.
Okay, now we get Stoner here. Stoner, where are you?
Well, Mike, I'm right outside in the little courtyard outside.
All right, what's happening?
And it looks like I got a pair of sunglasses on, but I'm not wearing any. And the way I see it here is we missed it by a couple of minutes. It looks like the sun or the moon has already passed slightly in front of the sun, and it's on its way out, and it'll probably be starting to brighten up here shortly, very shortly.
So we missed it by maybe a minute or two,
By a couple of minutes. I think it happened at 46 past. But it looks like I have sunglasses on, and I am not wearing any.
Well, this is a weird day, isn't it?
It's very weird.
I'll tell you, man. But it's how dark or bright or what is it outside?
It's, I don't know how to gauge how bright or light it is. If you were just to put a